Some time ago, the second son of a wealthy family was involved in a terrible car accident, leaving him disabled and confined to a wheelchair. Jing is supposed to be his wife, but instead forces her younger sister to marry the man. Xixing is known as a horrible, rude and callous man to match his family, who are only interested in money and power. Miao doesn't want to do this and asks her father to protect her, but business and the family's well-being are at stake. Her father forces Miao to agree and pretend to be her older sister so her future husband won't suspect the switch. Soon the young beauty arrives at the rich man's house in her wedding dress and goes to his bedroom. The man dives out of the water and scares the girl, as a result of which she falls into his arms. It would seem that the romantic moment should bring them closer together, but Xixing hates the Miao family and wants to destroy them. From the first second of their acquaintance, he humiliates the girl in every possible way, forcing her to do all his orders. Miao has to endure all this for the sake of her father and older sister, so she is ready to be not only a wife, but also a slave of the second son of the Leng family, and to sleep on the floor in the corner of the room. Meanwhile, Jing dreams of being by the side of the man she loves, but has to hide so that the deception is not exposed before time. Xixing's younger brother mocks him because he is in love with Jing, but the disabled man defiantly responds by reminding him that Swan's favorite girl will become his wife. When he is angry and unable to control his emotions, Suol overturns his older brother's wheelchair, causing Xixing to fall to the ground. When he returns home, he reproaches her for making love to his brother and kicks her out of the house. Miao cannot admit that she is another person, so with tears in her eyes she goes for a walk in the night city. Late at night, she meets a mysterious man in a black and white mask, hiding from bullies. Miao not only plays along with him in a difficult situation, but also saves him from potential trouble, causing the pair to kiss through the girl's hand. As soon as the bullies leave, Mosi sets aside her card and promises to make amends for moral damages. The girl not only feels sympathy for the mysterious man named Mosi, but also sees in him some resemblance to her future husband. This seems impossible to Miao, as Xixing cannot walk and is confined to a wheelchair. When the man returns to the office, it is indeed revealed that Xixing is hiding behind the mask. Remembering a romantic moment with a girl, he smiles for the first time. At the same time, his assistant informs him that Jing and Xuan tricked him into marrying an imposter. He soon learns that it is Miao, and she is the adopted daughter in the family, so he lets the girl sleep on a couch nearby. At night, Xixing has a nightmare, and Miao comforts him. The man won't let go of her hand, causing the girl to have to lie down next to him. Waking up in the morning, Xixing throws the girl off the bed, after which he apologizes for his behavior. Realizing that he slept restlessly and Miao helped him, the man feels sympathy for the girl and invites her to his grandfather's birthday party. The old man offers the girl to sign documents and receive 5% of his family's shares, but Miao admits that she is not Jing and is only pretending to be her sister. Miao's family shows up at the party and accuses the girl of betrayal, but Xixing believes her that she was forced to do it. Xixing exposes the younger brother who betrayed their family and was secretly dating Jing. Grandpa becomes ill, but Miao does acupuncture, giving him first aid. At the hospital, the old man is angry with his grandson, but realizes that he is in love with Miao and approves of their marriage. The grandfather also asks Xixing to take care of their company's affairs so that the business doesn't suffer. Soon Miao returns to his studies, where he rejects his first love. The guide, who turns out to be a cousin, promises to do anything to get her to be with him, but Miao is married and doesn't want to change anything. Noticing his wife with her cousin Yu, Xixing forbids them to communicate and takes the girl home. In the evening, he helps her with her studies at the medical university, but falls asleep due to fatigue. The next morning, Xixing agrees to cooperate with a famous company and puts the project under his younger brother's management. The grandfather thinks that Swan has not acted honestly and gives the project to Xixing, who has purposely organized everything so that the old man does not believe his younger grandson. Enraged, Swan makes a phone call and orders his older brother's life to be taken during a business trip. At the airport, the couple is attacked by two hooligans, but the driver saves Xixing and his wife. Unpleasant memories from the accident continue to haunt the man, causing him to lose consciousness. Miao orders him to go to the hospital, where Jixin is treated. In gratitude for his care, the man gives his wife a garden and a zoo. The grandfather realizes that the bullies were sent by Swan and kicks his youngest grandson out of the house, promising that the company will never belong to him. Angry, Swan pushes the grandfather and he falls down the stairs. Dreaming of taking over the company and getting rid of his grandfather, Swan leaves his fingerprint on the contract as proof that he now owns the family's business. Seeing Miao and Jixin in the hospital, Swan pretends to be very worried about Grandpa's health, but no one believes him. Grandpa survived the fall, but has fallen into a coma, and it's unknown when he will wake up. Swan is happy about this, but Jixing promises his younger brother that he won't let him take possession of anything even after Grandpa leaves this world, and his will takes effect. Xuan takes possession of the project to build on the site of the old graves. Miao asks her husband not to let this happen, as her own mother is buried there. On the way to the cemetery, Jixing learns that Miao's mother lost her life 6 years ago in a car accident. The man realizes that she was the one he ran into on the road, subsequently becoming an invalid. Angry, he kicks Miao out of the car, but still asks his assistant to break the contract to build on the site of the old graves. Jixing rejects Miao as he is in love with her, but because of the girl's mother, his parents lost their lives and he should hate her. Yu supports Miao after learning of her divorce, but at the same time informs the girl that Jixin's accident was because of her mother. In an attempt to find out the truth, Miao returns to her parents' house and accidentally overhears her father and Swan talking. As it turns out, her father used her to have his daughter download data from her husband's laptop, but that's not the worst part. The girl's father is involved in the accident and is to blame for her losing her mother. Realizing that she can't go back to Jixin, Miao decides to take revenge on everyone who hurt them. To do so, she meets with Mosi and arranges to collaborate against her father's company to take over his business. In the evening, she visits her parents and asks her father provocative questions, after which she tells him that she wants to work for his company after graduation. Her father suggests she start at the bottom, but Miao claims to be the CEO since she owns part of the company's shares, after agreeing to become Jixing's wife. Jing is adamantly opposed, causing the sisters to fight. Her father proposes to solve the conflict in a fair fight, promising the position to the one who will conclude a favorable contract with a famous firm. Miao asks Yu to help her with her studies, which angers the girl who is in love with him. After following Miao to the restroom, the girl attacks her and punches her in the face. Miao knows how to stand up for herself and punches the girl back, then asks her to stay away if she doesn't want trouble. The girl conspires her friends to get revenge on Miao, and Jixing has trouble at work again. The vengeful girl, along with her two friends, tricks Miao and traps her by locking her in a huge freezer. Miao can't call anyone and slowly freezes to death. Jixing shows up at the hotel and learns that the girl has disappeared. Unable to find his wife, he asks an assistant to check the CCTV footage. Upon learning that Miao is in the freezer and not feeling well, Jixing puts on a mask to pretend to be Mr. Moshi and rushes to help. The masked Jixing takes the girl to the hotel and asks for a private room. The front desk tries to deny him, as the vengeful girl is the daughter of the respected Du family who owns the hotel. The manager resolves the dispute by getting to know Mr. Mosi and realizing the consequences of a conflict with him. Du is not happy with what is happening, but Mr. Mosi's guard prevents her from following him and Miao, who is passed out. Soon Du's father appears and slaps the girl in the face for her behavior, apologizing to Mr. Moshi's guard. After saving his beloved wife, Jixing warms her with his arms. In the morning, Jixing suggests Miao forget the past and confesses his love to her. The girl realizes that there is nothing wrong with her husband's legs and asks him to explain why he is pretending to be disabled. Jixing wants to expose her younger brother and Miao promises to help, as she wants to know the truth about the events of the past and understand what bad things her father and Xuan did. Soon Jing and Xuan meet Miao and Jixing. Her sister is openly jealous of Miao as she is wearing expensive clothes and she assumes they are fake. Jixin admits that her blouse is from a new collection and is unimaginably expensive, as he spares nothing for his beloved wife. At a meeting with the fashion designer, Swan and Jing are in for a big disappointment as Mr. appoints Miao as the CEO for the entire Asian region. Soon after, Miao takes over as CEO of his father's company and kicks Swan out of his office. His sister demands an explanation from her father, but he asks her not to interfere with Miao's work. His father congratulates Miao on her position and asks her to host a charity dinner, inviting Jixing and Mr. Mosey to attend. Meanwhile, Jing and Xuan continue to plot to take over both of their families' companies. To do so, Jixin's younger brother asks the girl to find out more about her father's special fund in order to rob it or use the secret information for blackmail. At night, Swan sneaks into her father's office and transfers a large sum of money into his account. Miao and Jixing, who is not shy to walk in the presence of his wife, have been waiting for this and have been following the girl. After learning the secret account number, they ask the assistant to check it to get more useful information about the traitors acting behind their backs. In the morning, the assistant informs Jixin that he has found Mr. Liu. Miao's father learns that Mr. Liu is wanted and orders him to take his life. Two bullies attack Mr. Liu, but he manages to escape. Jixing and his assistant soon arrive, but Mr. Liu escapes from them as well. The next morning, Miao's company starts having problems because they are using substandard materials and people are complaining about their work. It turns out that Jing is behind this, who wants journalists to criticize her sister, forcing the girl to leave her post. Having learned about his wife's problems, Jixing decides to immediately return from a business trip to save her from imminent disgrace. Working until morning, Miao finds the cause of the problems in the list of ingredients and prepares for a speech to journalists. At the same time, a knife-wielding man breaks into the office to avenge his daughter who poisoned her skin with their cosmetics. Upon seeing Miao, he takes the girl hostage, and Jing incites him to have the man take her sister's life. Miao exposes her sister and the man, who Jing paid off, pounces on her and then on Jixing, who has intervened in the conflict, and injures his arm. The pair processed each other as Mr. Moshi's assistant suddenly appears. The girl doesn't understand how he knew what happened, as she doesn't know that Mosey and Jixin are the same person. A little later, the couple goes to the hospital, where Jixin visits his grandfather and promises to save their company. On their way back, they meet the director of the psychiatric hospital where Mia's mother was treated. The director admits that her mother was healthy, but years of being locked up drove her into a terrible depression that caused the woman to hallucinate. When Miao was 18, her mother ran away, but she was soon beaten and returned to the hospital. On the day of the accident, the woman was picked up by an unknown man and generously paid the mental health workers not to tell anyone about it. Jing and Xuan continue to provoke the couple into conflict, but Miao and Jixing keep their emotions in check. At the same time, Jixing reminds Jing that she is not his brother's wife and thus has no influence over their company. At the shareholders' meeting, Xuan takes all the credit, claiming that he saved the company from disgrace. Jixing includes a security video showing that he was the one who calmed down the man with the knife at the cost of injuring him. Despite this, the board of directors unanimously votes in favor of Xuan, appointing him CEO of the company. The brother's grandfather, who has come out of a coma, intervenes in the vote. He not only fires Xuan, but also appoints Jixing as the chief receiver. As it turned out, the old man had come to his senses shortly before and in a conversation with Jixin, learned the whole truth about Xuan's nasty deeds and actions. At the same time, the director of the hospital informs him that the man who gave him the hush money is Xuan, and he is the one responsible for the car accident. A little later, he learns about Miao's father, who stole her mother from the hospital 6 years ago. Miao soon guesses that Mosey and Jixing are the same person. After the incident, Jixing rejects Xuan as she was only with him for money and status. Now she wants to become Jixing's wife instead of Mia. Choosing a moment, the girl tries to fall on the disabled man, but he pushes her away and rejects her. Jing publishes the photo, trying to make herself look like a victim of her sister who beat her husband away from her. Miao has no intention of tolerating this and punches her sister in the face in front of the staff. Jixing learns of the conflict and publishes proof of her love for Miao. The collective supports Miao, while her father criticizes Jing for her stupidity and kicks his daughter out of the house. In the evening, Xuan calls Jing's father and tries to blackmail him, demanding that he give up the foundation's money and his daughter in exchange for his silence. At night, Jing and Neo's father sends two criminals to the meeting place to take Swan's life, but he manages to escape. The next morning, he meets Jing and tells a secret that only he knew before. Miao and Jixing visit the girl's father, where her scandal with her sister takes place. It turns out that Miao is the native daughter of her father, who took her mother's life just to make sure that no one would know the secret that Miao and Jing are sisters. Soon the perpetrator of the crime shows up at the house, having cut the brake hose in one of the cars. He finally exposes Miao's father as the criminal who ordered the taking of his own wife's life. In an attempt to cover up the traces of the crime, the girl's father sets fire to the perpetrator's house, as a result of which he loses his wife and child. Deciding to take revenge, the man attacks Miao's father and wounds her. At the same moment, Jixing gets up from the chair so that his wife does not become a victim. At the hospital, the wounded father asks Miao to forgive him and take care of the family business. The girl resents that her father only thinks about the company and Jing, but he explains that Miao is happily married and Jixing will take care of her. After handing his daughter the box with the key to the safe containing the charity's money, the father falls into an eternal sleep. A little later, Jing decides to meet Mr. Mosey and asks him to start a relationship with Miao, not realizing that the man under the mask and Jixing are the same man. Mosey decides to test how far Jing will go and agrees to have her lure her sister into his bed. Soon after, Jing goes to the company's office and offers her sister chicken broth that she has made with her own hands. Guessing nothing, the gullible Miao decides to have dinner and thanks her sister for her concern. A little later, Miao becomes ill because her sister's chicken broth contains sleeping pills. Jing steals the key to the safe from her sister's purse, then orders the guards to take her to the hotel to meet Mr. Moshi. A masked man tries to take Miao by force and Jing films it on her phone, not realizing that the couple has played a trick on her as Jixing is hiding under the mask of Mosey. The next morning, Jing gives the recording to Jixin and he decides to see her, whereupon he grabs the girl by the neck. The man pretends to be jealous of his wife of Mr. Moshi, and Jing offers to cooperate, during which Jixing will get the second key to the safe with the money and get proof that the accident of 6 years ago was planned by Miao. In return, Jing asks to marry her and Jixing agrees and allows the girl to stay in his house. A little later, he publicly rejects the cheating Miao and Yu. Upon learning of this, punches Jixing in the face. Xuan learns that Jixing has decided to marry Jing, whom he still loves and feels angry, dreaming of revenge against his brother for this. Jing invites Miao to attend the wedding with her husband, but the girl wants no part of it. Xuan returns to the city and attacks Jing, but she tries to steal the second key to the safe from him, after which the couple makes love. While Xuan goes to take a shower, Jing finds evidence against him and escapes to provide the key and proof of the guy's guilt to his older brother. Jixing takes the dirt but rejects the girl. After all, it was all a game, and soon the police arrive on the scene. Upon learning that Mosey and Jixing are the same person, a disappointed Jing runs away. Jing ends up going crazy and Xuan, recognizing this, goes to Miao's office with a car full of explosives. Fulfilling the criminal's demands, Miao goes down to the parking lot where Xuan kidnaps her with the help of two handy criminals. Upon learning of what has happened, Jixing rushes to the aid of his beloved wife. Appearing in the parking lot, Jixing tries to protect his wife, but the criminals break his leg. Xuan has lost his job, respect, and his favorite girl, so he doesn't want to live anymore. He tries to detonate a bomb, but the button fails. Realizing there's less than a minute on the timer, Jixing pushes his brother into the car and gets behind the wheel to drive as far away as possible to save Miao. Due to the stress, Miao passes out and is unaware of whether or not there was an explosion. In the morning, she wakes up in bed and asks one of Jixin's aides about it. Upon learning that her husband lost his life, the girl doesn't believe him and rushes to find Jixin. Yu asks her to calm down as she is pregnant and should not be nervous. A year later, Miao is raising a wonderful baby by herself. Going for a walk, she meets Jixing and hugs him tightly. Miao wishes this was true, but it is only her fantasy, as Jixin really sacrificed himself and took his own life.